erstmal bei den Uhren rein. Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr die beiden Spieler kennt. Und zwar, wir sind hier auf King of Vintage. Das ist der Jasper von Amsterdam Vintage Watches, ein Händler aus Amsterdam, wie der Name schon sagt. Und er ist hier zu Besuch bei Swiss Watch Gang. Und ja, die sprechen jetzt wahrscheinlich über seine Kollektion. Die ist sehr, sehr vielfältig, wie auch hier steht. Most diversified collection you will ever see. From Hublot Vintage to Vintage Longines.
Welcome to a collection review with the one and only Marco, Swiss Watch
Sarah
Gang.
Munich, wie geht's? Schöne Grüße.
Throw some gang signs.
Throw some gang shit.
We have a cardboard box over here.
Yeah, from IKEA.
It's gonna be full of surprises, right?
Yeah, full of fake watches.
Cheers to that, bro.
Cheers to fake watches.
Enjoy. Show me the watches, bro. First, starting with the watch on your wrist.
Yeah. Also er hat auf jeden Fall sehr viele verschiedene Uhren.
Maxi Marine, reference number 263-22 for those who know. It's a watch I bought on the e-commerce platform in Switzerland.
Muss ich sagen, ist eine sehr, sehr coole Uhr. An der Seite steht so eine Limitierungsnummer, hier an der Seite. Wir hatten die Uhr schon ein paar Mal im Laden. Ich muss wirklich sagen, ich fand sie nie verkehrt. Ich fand es echt eine coole Uhr und glaube ich, kostet auch nichts. Ist nicht so teuer.
Was actually a spontaneous buy because I always was a fan of Ulysse Nardin, and this watch was actually the one I wore when I first go to see my nephew when he was born. So I tried to connect watches with important events. Slowly, I'm trying not to do it anymore because then I can't let go of watches. But this is, this was on the photo, so I think this is something that he will get eventually.
Nice.
The fourth generation of this model, actually.
It's cool to see how they match the blue hands with the applied blue numerals.
Yeah. And the date has a rectangular shape, not a round shape, which is the first model. And I put it on this NATO strap. I have the bracelet as well in the box, but I just think it's more comfortable like this. I'm not a big fan of bracelets, and I like comfortable stuff, so this is it.
You love Ulysse Nardin, or this is the only one you have?
Yes, I love. Only one for now, but I want to acquire a freak first generation.
Those are cool.
Yes.
And I think it will match your Chaikin. Both of them are a little bit of a cult piece.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
I'm guessing we're going to see quite some watches that are unfamiliar with me.
Probably, yeah.
We were talking about references, and I obviously know Patek or Rolex or AP or Cartier, but the reference of Ulysse Nardin, I literally know zero.
But I think it's a thing with watches you personally buy. You just remember weird shit like that,
Yeah.
Like I used to have a Vacheron Patrimony, reference number 85180. If I tell this to the people at Vacheron, they have to think about it. But you just memorize this stuff,
True.
So I've got a box here, which basically surprise box for you. We'll go one by one, and we'll show you the watches. We'll start with probably your favorite brand in the whole world. And let me know what you think about this.
Favorite brand in the world?
Well, it's spectacular, that's for sure.
Jacob & Co.
I dislike Jacob & Co. because I know the way it's made.
Boah, ich habe letztens auch in der Gruppe so eine Uhr gesehen, wurde die, glaube ich, angeboten, dass die Skeleton preis-leistungsmäßig, wenn man die im Secondhand-Market bekommt, ist ein spannendes Modell. Ne? Das liegt so um die 10.000 bis 11.000 Euro. Skeleton, nicht schlecht.
Very sophisticated, it's very, very well done. And their branding is pretty strong.
Yeah,
they're doing a great job.
Strong, yeah.
The only thing is it does not fit my style, nor has it anything to do with why I love watches.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to explore why you chose this watch.
Yeah. For me, it's a combination of I love skeleton watches, plus I love special case shapes. So for me, this is a very modern and very aggressive interpretation of cow horn lugs.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's like, in the future, how Corne de Vache would look, maybe. To all the fans of Corne de Vache lugs, I do have something in this box which has similar style, which we'll see shortly. But again, a great combination. I love light watches. It's a titanium skeleton. I think the watch weighs like 53 grams or something.
It must be comfortable, especially on this strap.
It is, and also you don't sweat a lot because it has like the honeycomb holes in it.
It gives me a little bit of the Batmobile vibes.
Yeah, for sure. And the combination of polishing, brushing,
Batman erinnert mich das auch irgendwie.
The finishing of both the case and the movement are quite impressive.
Yeah.
And I like this sophisticated way of finishing on tool watches.
Yes, I like to wear this in summer because in the wintertime it is a bit bulky. So with the shirts or with the jackets, it gets a bit annoying.
But that's what I have with the Aqua now, the rubber strap. It's a steel watch, it's a sporty watch. I love to wear those kind of watches.
Exactly. So this is the first one I wanted to show you, and I'm sure your audience doesn't see a lot of this on the channel. So the next one is maybe more up your lane. And what do you think about this? Maybe even tell me if you ever saw one.
Wow.
Again, same core on the watch style, but more traditional.
Yes.
And a good size as well. This is a 1940s Longines.
I love the dial color.
Was für ein harter Kontrast,
It's
ne?
like almost salmon colored.
Yeah.
Wow,
recessed
stimmt.
subdials.
Die Hörner sehen ähnlich
Incredible.
aus.
Yeah, it's,
I saw one. You know vintage Longines? The gentleman from the UK?
He has a black dial or a white dial one.
True,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I've never seen a salmon dial like this before.
But this is more my style also, sizing wise, but you can definitely see the inspiration in a watch like this, although they look like 300 years apart.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's the crazy stuff.
So this I bought spontaneously as well on auction in Switzerland. In 1940s, I saw the condition, I'm like, I have to have this, right?
And they make beautiful manual wound movements.
Yes.
Just the regular ones I love, of course, their chronograph movements, their famed, but also their regular ones are Longines made.
Hi Marc, meinst du, ich habe eine Frage, meinst du, ich bekomme bei Omega Rabatt, beziehungsweise bei einem Händler Rabatt, wenn man 2 Uhren abnimmt? Nee, ich denke nicht.
Yeah.
Pretty decent watches.
And this one
to
in
say the
particular
least.
is very beautiful. We're gonna open it up for the bureau so the people can see the movement inside.
As a snapback, so it's going to be easy if you have a butter knife.
Definitely, yes. Not here, but we do have them for sure.
Gotta be careful to not scratch it since the condition is this good.
I think I did already, so you know, don't come at me.
But again, the blued hands.
Yes,
This is a 40s piece, right?
1940s. Yes, that's what
1940s.
the ad said. And also contacted Longines vintage department. They're very responsive, actually.
Yeah, they have a great service online to get the extras.
And they said this existed, but they didn't have like the exact sketch of it, let's say. The other one which you mentioned, vintage Longines, his watch, they had a sketch, but they didn't like disapprove of this watch. They said yes, this was at one point available or existed, but I never saw one.
It's good to see this dress watch in your collection, Marc, I have to say. I didn't expect this. It's very cool, especially after seeing the Ulysses and this one.
quite a jump.
This is quite a surprise.
You ready for the next one? Maybe something more contemporary, definitely good for your channel and your audience knows it. This is my latest purchase, the Rolex, the only reference number I know, 126000.
Yes.
That's about it.
Correct.
And I chose the 36 millimeter because I think for the Oyster
Die
Perpetual,
gelbe hat der.
41
Okay.
doesn't look nice. It's too big. The dial is has too
Oyster
much space on it.
Perpetual.
And 36
Mit dem
fits
gelben
this
Blatt.
perfectly. For me, huh? I got a lot of comments. Your wrist is big. You need 41, but I'm like, yeah, I bought it. You know, it's for me.
You're right.
And I don't agree with you.
We're on the same level. I prefer 36. I mean, for example, the Datejust or the Day.
Habt ihr gehört, was sie gesagt haben? Komischerweise, und die Leute sind ja auch wirklich in der Industrie drin, mögen auch 36 irgendwie lieber. Ne? Das sind Sachen, die sich einfach irgendwann ändern. Geschmäcker, die sagen, okay, jetzt ist die Zeit vorbei.
It has always been 36. Even Schwarzenegger was wearing 36mm Day-Date. Even Tony Soprano was wearing 36mm. So why can't large men wear 36? These watches are supposed to be, in my opinion, 36.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm seeing the yellow dial in the flash. Why did you pick yellow?
I just don't have a yellow watch in the collection. That's it.
Makes sense.
And
there are not so many watches that have a yellow dial,
No,
like really
not at all.
yellow. You have champagne, obviously, but this is totally different.
Yes. Plus, I didn't like the Tiffany color, which was the most popular one.
Yeah.
And the green is a bit too dull. So I thought, okay, for this price, let's get a funky watch from Rolex. It's the only one in the collection right now.
You don't have any other Rolexes?
No.
Stop the video. We're done here.
Stop.
Thank you very much for watching. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Cheers. No, but that's the cool thing. Therefore, I'm happy to sit here with you. You're going to teach me so many more things because if you would pull out many Rolexes, you know,
Look, I've seen this.
it's always a pleasure for me to see them.
Yeah.
But now I can really learn from you, and I hope our audience can learn too.
Yeah.
But this is a great watch for daily wear.
For sure. Oh, it's super comfortable. Like for this price point, the way it wears and you can feel the quality.
Well, for this price point, if you pay retail.
If you, which I
Which you
did, so
yeah.
that's okay. Next one, maybe another curveball. We go from modern to vintage again, to 1930s.
Wow.
1930.
Yes, I like this so much. I've seen this watch before. I
Jumping
posted it on
hour.
Instagram,
Yeah, yes, I
saying
did
like
that.
this is similar to wearing a cool independent now if you
Yeah.
would wear this in the 30s.
Imagine.
It's something totally out of the box. And the jump hour is cool, the time display is cool like this. And obviously it gives
Spannend.
me a little bit of the Tenkakisha vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yet the case decoration, that's a cool touch.
It's more Art Deco. So again, I bought this watch from somebody online who had a few others available, more plain ones, but I gravitated to this one because it's a bit more special in my opinion. And also the size is good.
Cool, yeah.
No, I think it's
Sehr
nothing.
cool.
Also the movement you can open it has like a not like this with the fingers, but with we can try with how do you call it, with the knife.
Yeah.
The movement is
unsigned
nice. Yeah, I think it's unsigned, which is not uncommon for these days. You know, probably somebody liked it, wanted to order one, and they just made it.
I'm pretty sure there's nobody in the world who has
Yeah.
a collection that's this far apart. Do you sometimes wear this one though?
Yes. For me, I know you see watches that I collect. They depend on what mood I'm in, who I'm meeting. If I meet like a real watch geek, I would wear the Chai Key because people don't see that much, more often. I wouldn't meet a watch collector and wear my Rolex, for example, because they can see this in a window or
Exactly.
whatever.
If you go to like a watch meeting, you're wearing this, nobody's going to talk to you. You're like,
Yes,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
we know that watch. But if you wear this, many people will ask you, well, what's that watch you're
Where
wearing?
did you buy it? What's the price? Because sometimes people also overestimate what the price of these watches is. If you're lucky, you can get these from $400 to $900 online.
And that's the cool thing about these watches.
It's a good
collecting
watch, huh?
a unique piece, which is pretty much this,
Yeah.
doesn't have to cost the world. You can have a pretty
no.
solid and very rare piece for under 1,000 euros.
Oh, completely agree. I like to buy vintage watches on the secondary market, let's say, or pocket watches. I'm getting into pocket watches at the moment. So my collecting style is very diverse. I like to collect multiple brands, complications, shapes, cases, materials. I don't like to buy. I wouldn't be the guy who has like 5 Rolex Submariners with a different reference number. I just don't care that
Gibt's
much.
auch die Leute, die einfach eine Linie sammeln.
Like 55,
Aber bei ihm
13,
ist auf jeden
20
Fall ein bisschen
for example,
Spannung
reference
drin. Ne?
Rolex. And there are people that has 12, 55, 13s, just the Mark 1 dial, one gilt dial, one this, you know? But this is so diverse for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't interest me per se, because I think collecting is so much fun. And sometimes when I put all the watches on the table, one could think that this was like a watch meetup or something, because you would think, oh, this is a sporty guy, a classic guy. It's like
this guy brought that watch, another guy brought this watch, a banker brought this, a sporty guy brought this, an artist brought this. You have like your whole, now I understand why you're called Swiss Watch Gang. You're the gang by yourself.
Yeah, basically. Because nobody wants to join us. So the next one is from a micro brand slash micro independent. Very popular watch. This model actually won the GPAG award.
Wow.
Maybe
When did they
also,
win it?
you know, I don't know
Ming.
the year, but it was for the Challenge Award or something like that. The Ming Copper. Again, a watch we bought spontaneously with four
Ich glaube,
friends.
das hatte auch
We were in
Ali
Switzerland,
Al-Nasabi
listening to
mal
watch
in
companies,
einem
and this
Video
watch
von
was
mir.
released. So we all had the chance to buy one actually.
The dial decoration in the inner circle is so cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
But they had some problems though with the hand alignment lately, right?
With the new model, yes, with the Messina drop.
Yeah, with the Messina.
But again, it's mechanical watches. It's not mass-produced.
That's true.
And also,
Very
I think if you handle the customer service and customer care afterwards, you get away with it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If you would be like a dick to the customers and say, "Listen, guys, the hands are aligned. You know what you're talking about," then you would have a problem. But they were super quick to resolve it, so I think it's fine. And again, this is a.
color is
Wieso
so
wird in
unique
diesem
with the
Video
dial.
kein Tornado
I just feel like it
entzündet?
mismatches a bit with the strap, in my honest opinion.
Right.
But it has a lot of depth.
Yes, it does. And this was a 1,200 Swiss franc watch
And size-wise, it's spot on.
38, I think.
It's spot on.
Yeah.
1,200 Swiss
at the
francs.
time. Now it's 5.4.
Wow.
Secondary market. Yeah.
So it's the value fivefold?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow.
Ming has a very cult following. Every watch they release is sold out. At the time, it wasn't that hyped yet. I mean, it was, but we managed to get one. I mean, we managed to get 4. No, but this is
Interesting
something
example.
like-
I've seen many Ming watches online.
Yeah.
I never had one in my hands.
What do you think?
And I'm pretty impressed, especially at that price point. Also, if you see the way the dial was built up, if you feel the crown winding, it feels really solid. It
Yeah.
feels like a very, very good watch for a very decent price.
Yeah, and it has this indie vibe, but you don't pay tens of thousands of dollars of it.
You quite enjoy the independence, do you?
I do. Yeah, that was the mission from Swiss Watchman from the beginning.
Yeah.
So up until we launched the YouTube channel, we published only independent brands. We only started talking about mainstream brands, Rolex, Omega, all that stuff, after YouTube was launched, because of course, as a new channel,
Okay.
you rely on SEO on YouTube,
Yeah.
and you want to get a wider audience, right?
Makes sense.
But before that, if you track it before August 2019, you will see brands you don't know probably, plus no Rolex, no Tudor. So I grew all my accounts basically on independence, which is pretty unique. I would
What I like about independence is like 99% of the people buying independence really know what they're buying,
Yeah.
really are collectors or
Yeah.
don't care so much for the resale value and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's with Rolex it's the other way around. Sure, there are many collectors and
Yeah.
people who are buying it to enjoy them, but in the end, like 90% buys them for the resale value or if
Yeah.
they know their money is safe,
Aber
whatever.
bei MB
where they know
und
other
F zum
people will
Beispiel, die
recognize
Sachen
it.
werden auch alle
Independence is the
über
other way around.
Retail
That's something I
gehandelt,
really
ne, muss man auch sagen.
But also lately independents have seen a very uprising in prices as well. More and more brands get established.
Yeah.
Because also let's say MB&F is one of the oldest and biggest independents. I think they've had their 20th anniversary or something, or Uhren as well.
Yeah,
So
they
now
did,
they have
they did a crazy watch, MB&F.
yes, I mean they do a crazy watch every year.
Yeah, Max Buser is a genius in my
Yes,
opinion.
it
I
is,
like the
it
guy
is,
so
it
much.
is.
We talked about his watches on Instagram, Max and I, and he's just such a funny dude.
Yes,
Really
you're right.
like his style.
Next one, also independent from just behind the border to Switzerland. It's a small watchmaker, French guy, Armand Billard from Sartre Billard. So this is a limited edition of 10 pieces.
Who's the pretty guy on the dial?
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's a mirror. It's the dial.
Wow, stimmt, die habe ich bei ihm auch auf
I never came-
Instagram gesehen. Sehr, sehr nice.
Of the brand?
So Sartre
Gib mir ein
Billard-
paar
so
Moser
Sartre
und
Billard is a French.
Vibes.
So the idea, me
Nice.
and him spoke about the idea of making a custom watch or like a very crazy design. So we came up with a mirror watch basically.
Mega.
So the idea was to create everything in titanium.
But the hands are also mirrors.
Everything is mirror polished.
The
titanium.
dial, everything?
Everything. Case, back, crown, buckle, case, dial, hands, everything. That was the idea, to make like a concept
Cool.
of a phantom watch basically. And again, it's super light as you probly feel it.
Why didn't you include a mirror-like bracelet?
I wanted to, but I think because it has curved,
it's gonna be hard.
it's difficult. But that was a discussion.
What's also weird is the construction of the case because it has screws on the case back, but you can't just open the case back because the case back is actually connected to the lugs.
Yes, exactly. So basically, the case is separate and the lugs then cover it. So it's a bit of a different approach as well.
What price point are we talking about?
Crazy, man.
This was 3.3 thousand euros.
Very unique piece.
10 pieces made, sold overnight. But again, this was something we did, people loved it, and that's it, In the world of independence, the more crazier you go, the quicker it sells, I think. And it's fun to wear, and people don't know what I have on my wrist,
It's very cool, really. This is some cool stuff.
And the size of it.
Very cool. I like that also the hands and the case and everything is mirror-like.
Everything. And this is my neutral watch. If you go to a meeting when I don't want to offend anybody, I'll wear this because it's
Chameleon
like,
watch.
Yeah, it's chameleon. People like, yeah, what the hell's this? So the next watch, this is definitely up your alley. You've got an account separately made for this. I broke the bracelet, I think, but I've been said this is the first generation Cartier Santos.
Yes, correct.
87 to 82 somewhere.
Ah, okay.
Very beaten down, but that's what I love about this watch. It's automatic. It's very wearable, even for my small wrist. You see the size comparisons now I collect. It's all over the place.
Herrenuhr, ne? Herrengröße
I don't care.
damals.
And this is truly a piece that I prefer in bicolor over a full steel or full gold one.
Yes.
Because this has so much those 80 kind of vibes, you know, that's what I really enjoy about them. And again, for a brand like Cartier, this is very affordable and very sustainable. Even if you look at the design, it lasted already 40 years and today it's more popular than it was ever.
Yeah.
You know, the Santos
Cool.
is one of the models that obviously had a
Finde ich auch nicht
production
schlecht.
with some new
Kann
models
nicht
that
jeder
look
tragen in der
similar,
Größe, aber
inspired
es
by
ist
this.
ein spannendes
For me,
Modell.
this is a watch that is one of the best buys still in the Cartier market on the lower level of the price range.
For sure. And you can combine it to a suit. You can wear it on your jeans and jacket.
It will always be cool.
Yes, it's very versatile, the watch.
Yeah.
I almost broke it once. I wore it to a winter sports. I went sledding with it. You know, the only guy probably on the slope who wore a vintage Cartier. And what happened, of course, water came in the dial. So the hand had to be replaced and also the crown gasket and everything.
Oh
So
nein.
never wear your vintage Cartiers to the
I'm happy
winter
to see
slope.
Cartier though in your collection. It's a very nice piece.
Yes, I have a few other surprises here as well. One of the watches I bought because it was a good deal, but later really grew on me, and I had it
Cartier
actually
was.
repaired, is something also you know.
Ah.
2390?
Yes.
Jäger?
Yes.
Cartier Tank basculant.
Oh ne.
Good condition.
Oh.
Again, the retailer had it. I think they didn't know what they have that much.
So first you bought it only because you thought it was a good deal, and then when you had it, you were like, I kind of like this watch.
I always had a thing for watches which do something.
Yeah.
Like I am a fan of the Reverso. I am a fan of the basculant now. I like Uhrwerk. So I think
Cool.
just having this and play with it, it's nice.
Yeah.
Plus it's a cool watch.
It is a cool
Cool.
watch.
Extremely slim. The movement is incredible inside.
Yeah,
Mega.
mechanical movement.
Yeah.
Super cool case construction.
Yeah.
Nice classic, really Cartier-like dial. You have a winner.
Yes.
In stainless steel, it's top piece. But to be honest, it was great to buy these. Like a year ago, they went for 4K,
Yeah.
and now they quadrupled almost in price.
Yeah, I think still it's a good buy if you consider like what you get with this.
Yeah.
'Cause I always think about, okay, if Cartier would make this watch today, what would the price be?
Well, if you look at it that way,
I
it's
think
still a very good buy.
Probably 15, I don't know.
True.
Because the case looks super complicated,
Yeah.
right? And it was made from the same company that the Reverso was, so
Yep.
probably something along the way in history happened that they
You
just
know
didn't
those
pick it up.
vintage Cartiers? They're called cabriolet. They also made it with a case construction
With
that
the
is
on the side.
reversible.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
Those are collectible too.
Yes,
Perfect modern iteration of a classic Cartier.
yes, definitely. Next watch, probably the most hated brand on YouTube and the social media platforms. A brand which people don't
Most
like,
hated.
but I love it. I made a
Controversial.
a video about it. Again, a bit of a jump from Cartier to this.
Very controversial. We got ourselves a Hublot.
Ah.
This is the first
Limited
Hublot on
edition,
the
glaube ich,
KLV
von
channel.
Hour,
It might as well be
Hourglass.
the last one.
Oder
I'm not sure about that, but you might be able to persuade me why you think Hublot is cool or this watch in particular belongs in your collection.
So this watch has a personal connection to me to the Singapore Watch Club, to Tom. who's the
Singapore Watch
founder.
Club war es, ja.
So we are close friends, and after visiting Singapore for so many times, I became part of the club.
This was only made for the Singapore Watch Club.
Only
right?
from the
Yeah.
Singapore Watch Club, and also we all had to basically in advance say who wants to get one. So they didn't just make it and then we bought him. No, we had to say, okay, I want one.
And why did you say I want one?
Because I always wanted a Hublot, so there's a few ones that I want. The Jay-Z, which you might know. I like the Olinsky edition. It's like, yeah, let's talk more about Hublot. But I always wanted one.
Ich
and I
meine,
think this
müssen wir
was
nicht
a
drüber
great
sprechen.
opportunity
Die
to
Uhr
put
sieht
it.
halt
So in
sehr
case,
gut aus.
the first Hublot
Super
with
Uhr.
the combination of black ceramic and rose gold.
And let's be honest, aesthetically that works really well always.
Yes, yeah,
I liked it before when, for example, Marc used the tantalum and rose
yeah,
gold.
yeah.
A combination of like a dark material
Yes.
with rose gold. The rose gold really pops out.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's
It
like
is.
the Swiss watch gang. But then also the dial, right? This is the first time Hublot did a Chinese numerals on the dial. The first time they used linen.
Schicke
on the dial.
Uhr.
And the numerals
Gefällt
are
mir
actually
auch, muss ich ganz
hand-painted
ehrlich
by a
sagen.
calligrapher in
Ich habe jetzt gekauft, ich habe eine sehr, sehr verrückte Hublot gekauft. Ich weiß noch nicht, ob ich sie verkaufen soll. Und zwar, diese Uhr läuft rückwärts. Die Uhr läuft rückwärts. Und zwar, es gibt verschiedene Generationen. Das ist jetzt die letzte Generation. Hier. Und zwar, das ist die Uhr und sie läuft rückwärts. Also hier die Uhr seht ihr ja, hier ist die 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Also es ist ganz cool, ne? Also ich weiß, ich fand es cool, zumindest darum habe ich sie auch gekauft.
in Singapore. And he basically painted the numerals on a big surface of paper on the bottom, like on the floor, and then Hublot digitalized it and put it onto the dial. So this made first in this watch, probably also many lasts. Because again, when this came out, people were asking where can they buy one, but nobody knew that this was pre-sold, pre-made just for the club. And I almost won a bet once with somebody working at Hublot in a boutique that this watch never came to market from Hublot, and I almost won a chronograph tourbillon. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm
From Hublot.
no from the guy in the shop, yeah, because he
Yeah,
said
but from like
yeah, from Hublot. I said
but
I'm
you don't want
gonna
that
bet you. No, I would sell it immediately to you guys because you know you like to stock Hublot for the future.
Well, thank you very much for showing this
Yeah.
and trying to
What do you
explain
think?
it.
Like,
There are a couple of things that
forget
kind
the
of annoy
brand.
me.
Okay.
Just purely aesthetically, there are a couple of things that kind of annoy me.
The
First
screws.
of all, no, not the disalignment of the screws because everybody knows the story. Then I could say the same about the Santos.
Yes.
But we had a funny discussion during lunch about screws and
about
alignments.
the AP perfect
Exactly.
screw alignment.
But the problem for me is that they put Hublot on the backside of the glass.
Okay, sure.
But automatic, which has exactly the same design and the same graphics,
Yeah.
is on the dial plate.
Okay.
I don't know why. It creates an annoying kind of depth in the dial.
Yeah.
And also that they, for me, it would be so cool to have the dial. I'm not sure how practical it would be or feasible, but to have the dial really like linen. But this is not linen. There's linen underneath, but they topped it with sapphire crystal.
Yeah, I mean it's linen, and then they topped it with like a resin to
Yeah.
keep it to not like basically go up, right?
But that would be cool, actually.
Yeah, but
you get even more
yeah,
unique
true.
features on the watch.
But maybe the hand.
Ja, wird es wahrscheinlich nicht laufen, ne?
Yeah, it might not be. Therefore, I said I'm not sure if it's practically smart to do.
Yeah.
But then also the dégradé effect that the outside is very dark and it gets lighter inside. It's not my kind of style, but I have to say this is possibly the best of the worst. So once again,
Wow.
I can
Clip
never,
that. Clip
I
that
can never
shit.
say I would buy it. I won't. But it's an interesting piece for sure, and
Yes.
I bet it will have a lot of response,
Yeah.
both positively as
Yeah.
well negatively.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody will. For example, the Longines, everybody will say, oh, that's a
Yeah.
nice watch,
Yes.
but nobody will like, whoa, that's super cool, or nobody would like, that's super ugly. I bet this watch gets those responses. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Ja.
It's nice to go to a Hublot boutique, again, speaking as somebody who actually likes the brand, and they see this for the first time. Because like, oh, I saw this somewhere, you have one. And they're like, who are you?
That's
Like, why do you have one, you know?
That's cool.
It opens a lot of conversations, plus people recognize the Singapore edition. Last watch, my currently
Last
most complicated watch in the collection, arguably the most valuable, only precious metal. You ready for this?
Because there's not a single gold watch in here. Okay, the Hublot has those
a
gold
bit of
accents.
gold, and
Cartier.
the Santos.
The Santos has
a
the
bit.
gold accents.
I'm not a big gold guy because I think often depends what I buy. If I would go for a vintage date, gold is inevitable, basically, right? You have no choice. But if I buy a new watch, often for me, because I look at the mechanics and the design of the watch first, the gold just pushes up the price, which for me doesn't add any value. So this watch, if it would be available in steel, I would also buy it. So this is a nice Cartier Tortue perpetual.
Ah,
edition.
Tortue.
Ah,
Ist
it's
Monopusher?
Yes.
Oder?
It's
Nee.
very hefty. And the smaller size, because they make this in bigger sizes,
Exactly.
but I prefer the 2646, which is this one. It has the perfect size, but it is still such a quirky watch. It's
Yeah.
a Tortue with a perpetual calendar,
Okay.
therefore making the dial really
Sehr, sehr
intense.
interessanten
Yes.
A lot
Geschmack,
of
ne?
features going on, but still pretty classic piece. And I like that they use the octagonal crown on it, the matching blued hands that we can see often, but not in this shape of Cartier. And as you can see on the CPCPs, they have this guilloche motif that starts with a flower in the center of the dial. And for me, that always really grasps the essence of Cartier, the romance, the beauty of the finishing. And for the CPCP line, they used some okay movements. I think this is Jajar gonna go.
I think so, yeah, I think so. GP base and
Yeah,
then the mouse
GP
on top of it.
Ja,
Because
nicht
it is
schlecht.
in another watch.
Sehr, sehr spannendes Video, muss man sagen. Sehr, sehr verschiedene Uhren sehen wir da mit drin. Man muss natürlich begeistert sein für diese Thematik. Sonst kann man mit wenig anfangen.